I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? It is a great day, and I'm so very excited to be here. We have the authors edition today, so we're going to be talking about books. You guys know we are coming up with some cool stuff for books really, really soon, and authors. So stay tuned. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break. Thank you to our sponsor, DuPont Network, who's sponsoring us this year to go to the Stomp the Iconic Awards in Memphis, Tennessee on October 1st. We're going to have so much fun and so many amazing interviews, as you can see this past year that we had. We are doing it again this year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Welcome back to the show. So I have my guest today, Mr. Terrell McClure.
McCullough.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. McCullough is on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Yaya, for giving the opportunity to present my writings to your viewers.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell us about yourself.
Let's see. I was born in Oklahoma around 1952. My family moved to Richmond, the San Pablo area of California. I grew up in the best of times, 1960s. I graduated from Richmond Union High School in 65, and I currently live in Placerville in the California foothills. I worked almost every kind of a job, but finally settled in and worked for California Department of Corrections and survived there for 26 years. I ended up there as a sergeant instructor. That gave rise to my two published creative nonfiction books about corrections, Hogs Prison Journals and Hogs 2 Prison Journals.
Wow. Now that's intense.
Well, it was.
That's intense. Yeah, yeah. So tell us about your background.
Well, just my corrections background. Like I said, I worked most every kind of a job there was, but mostly I've been writing in the past a few years. I have a science fiction novel, SICQ. It's about an existential exercise of man's reaction to the discovery of alien presence in the universe. I'm writing a sequel to SICQ entitled SOS. When that's completed, I'm going to continue writing Hogs and a prequel to those things. I'm also a singer-songwriter.
Nice. I
have a website I can plug just for everybody to look at.
Yes, definitely.
It's tmac-ent.com. tmac-ent.com.
Nice, nice. So behind you, the books, those your books, that's Hogs and the other book that you were talking about?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so why did you write Hogs? I mean, you went through the whole thing. I mean, is there like some stuff you can't write about?
Well, I found out that I wanted to go to detail about what prison life is like. You've seen different shows and heard different things about prison, but I wanted to give an actual account of what actually is true and goes on in prison. It's not like in the New Color and all that stuff of Oz and everything. There are non-sequential events of what actually happens in prison. I go into detail about daily procedures so that people can see exactly what you're doing if you're unlocking a door or going into a cell or whatever. It's just the daily activities that I want. But every day in prison, the mundane and spontaneous yard incidents can develop. Building riots, staff assaults, escape attempts. All those things happen every day throughout the department. Although most of my stories deal with inmate encounters, I also include illegal acts by staff. I document a few of the policies missteps of the department and some well-known public incidents. The characters in the book are real, but the names have been changed in some cases, but not all of
them. Oh my gosh. That is like, yeah, that, a lot of people don't know what goes on inside the prisons, and they speculate, by these TV shows and things like that. I mean, how close is that?
I'd say not close at all. you get all kinds of shows that show inmates on tears and the guards, looking the other way and everything else. Most of the time in prison, everybody wants to do the right thing. But there are people who don't want to follow the rules, and most of them are staff.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. I document quite a few different things about things that staff do, but and there's thousands of stories written every day by all the staff members. Some of the events I have, like a convicted child molester being assaulted by other inmates, an incident with an inmate accidental death by autoerotic asphyxiation, you know, different gang factions pooling resources to assault each other's gangs, um, staff faux pas about bringing drugs into prison and cell phones, inmates refusing to assault another inmate, inmate and staff dalliances, they get together a little bit, and dormitory riots and escape attempts. Like I said, those things happen all the time.
That's crazy. See, you survived this.
Well, I survived it, and I trained about 30,000 cadets to go through, and I hope they've survived too. But there's all types of people in prison, but it's not for everybody.
No.
Oh, yeah, you heard different things about prison. What do you think is goes on in prison?
Oh, a lot of stuff. Back in the day, back when I was going to school in the 80s, they had Scared Straight. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
They took the
we
kids.
had that at some of the institutions. Yeah.
I was one of the kids they took, and I was like, well, why do I have to go? I have straight A's. I don't give any problems. They're like, everybody has to go. So I was like, I was caught up in that very first group of people that
Mhm.
everybody had to go, before they just started sending like the bad kids and the kids that were giving problems and stuff. I was like, when I went in there, I was like, I never want to come back here even to visit somebody. I'm good. I just don't want to. I didn't want to come in the first place. I was never looking to come in the first place. I mean, I never planned my life as this being a part of it. So yeah, no,
Well,
it was scary to say the least. They screamed at us and everything. I mean, but I think that's because they didn't want us to end up there like them.
Well, that's the purpose of it. But life in prison is probably not what people imagine. If you follow an inmate through a day, you might have starting up with ringing the bell to wake up to go to chow, uh, and you want to look at what you got to get dressed and go to eat. You get 10 or 15 minutes later, you go get your door open and you follow the other inmates down to the chow hall. You eat from what a pre-selected menu is, and you're elbow to elbow with other inmates. Once you're given a limited amount of time to eat, perhaps 20, 25 minutes, then you're given a sack lunch and ushered out back to your housing unit. If you're lucky, you might get to go to work for 10 or 50 cents an hour.
Oh my
If you're
God.
lucky, you might sweep, mop floors, work in the kitchen, mow a lawn in the institution. You could learn a trade in automobile repair, welding, coffee making, printing signs. If you're making license plates, you're probably at Folsom Prison, of course. That's where they make them. And so you might be required to get a basic education and maybe even a higher education, which gives us opportunities. And that's what we're looking for, is to give people opportunity to change their lives, to give them a work ethic if we can. The major thing I do when I'm trained is try to have cadets set an example, a positive example. And as long as you set a positive example, maybe they'll have something to follow, maybe they won't, but it's always their choice. You might go out to the yard if you're an inmate and run around the yard, do some pull-ups or play some tennis if you can afford a racket. Uh, then you might even get visits, unless you're a woman. If you're female inmates, they usually don't get too many visits unless with their caregiver or mother or something like that. It's it's sad that happens, but that's the truth. You might even get a conjugal visit if you're married, but there are 2 to 3 days you might get to spend. They call that the boneyard. So, uh, just telling, just telling. I try not to hide anything.
Wow. And all of this is in your book.
Yeah, a lot of these things. There's all kinds of things that come up. I've got on my two books. There's 19 episodes of different things, but like I said, there's every day there's stories written in people's minds.
Mm,
I can just listen to a story and imagine it because I've been to probably 13 prisons throughout the state, and of course, being an instructor, I hear all kinds of stories. But it's difficult to present those things to people who don't understand what life is like there,
my goodness. My
and
goodness.
especially in a gang aspect.
Yeah.
If you're if you're a Hispanic, Asian, black, white, whatever you or LBTQ, you probably are part of a gang unless you want to try to dance to your own music. A lot of times they won't let you, especially if you're Hispanic. Uh, Maybe an example, Hispanic inmates, the Northern Hispanics, they usually have to have their cell cleaned and maintained all the time. And they're also required to go out to the yard if the shot caller on the yard tells them to. The highlight of your day could be spending the next 10, 20, 15 years of of your life next to a person or celled with a person you don't know, and you have to get to learn learn what they're like. It's an 8 by 10 cell, maybe some are smaller. So and you get a toilet without a toilet seat. You know, all kinds of enjoyable things.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This sounds like something that's going to be like on a streaming platform or a TV or a series or something. Do you have that in the works?
Well, I actually, when I was writing the Hog series, I wrote it as if it is a screenplay, so that
Mm,
people could see actually what's going on as I document each individual thing that person does. And yeah, I think it's untapped as far as the types of
yeah.
stories
Yeah,
because
because
there's
this is real.
well, yeah, and like I said, I I don't tell the exact story because I don't want to use everything that some person tells me. I want to try to use the dramatic effect of writing. So I try to make it interesting. There's a lot of humor in prison. Of course, there's violence too, but
Mhm.
you've got to realize that. And as I've said this before, that you gotta look at the inmate as this is their punishment, being separated from society. You're not there to punish them. You're there to keep them safe and to separate them from society, and that's it.
Wow. Wow. So you have the Hog series and SICQ. Are there any other books that are coming out anytime soon? I know you were saying one other one, but what was that? And anything after that?
Well, of course, I'm always looking forward. I'm in the middle of writing the sequel to SICQ, the Alien Contact thing.
That's right.
I had a really good review on my website about it. But yeah, SICQ is a sequel to it. Is called SOS, and then I'll have another one. I'm trying to figure out how to end this one so I can go to the next one.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You're always keeping yourself busy, but all I mean, having these different sci-fi and realism, how do you write for those?
Uh, you know, I have an idea about where I want to go, but the good part about my writing is that as I am doing right now, I'm writing part of SOS, and I'm saying, how do I want to say this, and where do I want to go with it? Because I think it's enjoyable to me for me to create it on the fly. And I've said before that writing is like a river, water going down a brook or whatever, and you drop a couple of pieces of wood or a petal or something in it, and they'll go in and they'll bounce on the rocks and maybe meet up someplace later. You know, those are the things that sort of like it's a surprise to me sometimes when I come
Hmm.
up with something, which I guess is good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Terrell, for being on the show. I appreciate it so much. And thank you for your service. You know, it wasn't easy, and I'm so happy you made it through, because a lot of people at least I hear, it's difficult.
Yes, I think as I've known and found before, that the ones who go through the academy and to become correctional officers, many of them do not finish their career at at the good old age where they should. It's usually some of them drop out within 2 years.
Mm,
So that's the sad thing. But like I said, prison is not for everybody,
it is
uh,
not.
especially if you're incarcerated.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely, definitely, definitely. But it's, it's a stress all around as well, But I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find your books?
Okay, they can find them at Barnes and Noble. They can find them on Amazon, most any place where books are sold. And like I said, my website at tmac-ent.com is where you can get to my actual website. And if you want a signed copy, drop me a note on that plus, and I can get you one of those.
That is amazing. I like signed copies. I love signed copies. Thank you so much, Terrell, for being on the show again. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to have all of that information in the description box so that it'll be easy for you guys to find that, as well as the website. And I want to thank you guys so much. Hey, these stories, they sound amazing. And I don't know, it's kind of like you can't put it down. I mean, once you pick it up, it's like if you love stuff like that, you just cannot put it down. So I would suggest, if you do get it, make sure to get the second copy and the third and the other
And
story.
the fourth and the fifth and the
Fifth.
sixth. And tell the Paramount producers, to pick this up as a series.
I
It,
think that
it
would be great.
oh yes, it would
I
be.
think that would be great. It would be great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Anytime.